Hello and welcome to Inside Tennessee's practice facility. I'm Ryan Sylvia. This is Noah Taylor. We are with VolReport.com on the Rivals Network. And ahead of a big game with Florida this weekend, we were able to talk with Coach Brian Jean-Marie and Alec Abeln, along with players Omari and Warren Burrell. So let's jump right into the takeaways from what we heard. Let's start with you, Noah. What was your biggest takeaway from what the coaches had to say?
Yeah, I asked Brian Jean-Marie what Keenan Pili's role has kind of been. The linebackers were a huge topic of discussion this week because of his injury, Keenan Pili's injury last week, not playing in that Austin Peay game, causing Elijah Herring to get his first start, and a lot of young linebackers to get a lot of playing time on Saturday, really their first taste of that in a college game. I know yesterday we talked about Elijah and his welcome to college football moment, and I asked him what Keenan Pili's role has kind of been in that room, and he said he's very involved. It's only been a week since that injury, but he's very involved. As soon as he came back, he was in the meeting rooms with the team. He's been out at practice. He said that he's going to travel with the team on Saturday down to Gainesville. I think that's huge to have him. I know before the game we saw him in street clothes with the team, during warm-ups on Saturday against Austin Peay. I think it's huge to have him in the room because he's a guy that's played a lot of football, expected some big things out of him. Unfortunate start to his career at Tennessee. They think he may be back before the season is over, which obviously we would hope to see that. But really interested to just hear Brian Jean-Marie say how involved Keenan's been and how important his leadership has been. I think that helps with Aaron Beasley. You have a guy who's on the field as a leader, and then on the sidelines a guy who's seeing it from a different perspective. And I think his exact words were he's kind of a second coach for them in that room.
Yes, had Pat Garland as well, obviously out for the season from before the year started. Another coach as well, kind of on the sideline. It feels like, even though they're a player, it feels like they have these extra coaches in the linebacker room, which is a big deal with a lot of young faces that they're going to have to play big snaps here at the start of SEC play. I want to talk about the tight end room, though. Coach Alec Abeln, of course, used to be an assistant on the offensive line, moved over to replace Alex Golesh as the tight end coach this year. So that's helped the transition for a lot of these tight ends into being an extension of the offensive line. That was the phrasing used, as that they need to be an extension in these blocking schemes, and they've done a good job of that so far. But for a guy like McAllen Castles transferring over from UC Davis, he blocked at UC Davis. Yeah. He says that he doesn't get maybe as much credit as he deserved for being over there and blocking, but he was known more as a receiving tight end when he came over here, and a guy that can make plays. We saw that obviously with his touchdown on Saturday running down the field. But he said he never really got the coaching to be a true blocking tight end until now under Alec Abeln. So Alec Abeln doing a good job of not only preparing Jacob Warren and continuing that progression, but taking two new guys to the team in McAllen Castles and Ethan Davis, a freshman, and kind of helping them become these versatile guys that not only are threats down the field and can catch and can run at a really high level, but are going to help protect the quarterback, are going to help open up running lanes for running backs, and really help this offense get pushed down the field. But let's move over to the players. What was your biggest takeaway from what the players had to say?
Yeah, I think you wrote about it yesterday, which is on VolReport.com right now, but a lot of quotes this week about handling the swamp. For some of these guys, it'll be their first time down there. First time this season playing a true road game in a very hostile environment, 7 p.m. kickoff and everything that comes with that. Warren Burrell was asked about being a guy that's been there, how he's kind of told the younger guys about it. I think that's important. Last time they were down there in 21, Tennessee was in a kind of a transition year, in Josh Heupel's first year. We talked about on the podcast this week, they played that game really well considering everything they had gone through in the offseason, but ultimately lost by a couple scores. Different ball game now going into it. Now you're the favorite. Now your programs are on kind of different trajectories right now, and I think it's going to be really important. I still expect that to be a loud, hostile environment on Saturday night. I think it always will be with Florida and Tennessee on the road, no matter where it's at. And I think it's going to really pay off to have a guy that's played there, especially in the secondary, where Tennessee's got a lot of young guys that are going to be expected to contribute in that game all over the field. I think it's going to be really important for a guy like Warren Burrell to be like, hey, this week I've been there, I've played this, here's how you're going to handle it, here's how you're going to handle the communication, because that's going to be the biggest key for this team on Saturday, how they handle that crowd noise, because we know they struggled with it a little bit last year. It's going to be interesting to see how they've kind of transitioned. Yeah,
definitely a lot of veterans on the team that have been there, done that, especially at the Swamp. One of those guys, Omari, he touched on a players-only meeting that Tennessee held on Sunday. There is rumors and reports about it leading into today. Well, it is confirmed that Tennessee held that players-only meeting after the Austin Peay game. But he did clarify that it's not like a panic button, we need to fix something. It's something that they do pretty regularly throughout the season. The emphasis of it is we need to focus, we need to prepare, we need to make sure we're on the right track for this Florida game. but also let's make sure we're having fun in the preparation as well. So it was an interesting balance that they talked about, where they want to make sure they're enjoying this process while at the same time kind of putting their nose to the grind and really getting ready for a big test this weekend in the Swamp. And that's something that kind of the entire leadership committee comes up with, gets the whole team involved. And it sounds like from what we've heard from Omari Thomas that it went well. They feel like it's a success, and they feel like it should pay off this weekend against Florida. But for continued coverage heading into the Florida game, we will be back in this facility on Thursday to talk to Josh Heupel for the last time before Tennessee heads to the Swamp. And then us two will be in attendance in Florida for that Saturday affair at night. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Head over to VolReport.com for all of our written content and to talk about everything on the message board. Links to everything you need is in the description, and thank you for watching.